Time now for News Abuse, where we highlight the excesses of the American media. We try to do that frequently. President Trump sat down with Eric Bolling of Fox today. He said that despite his rhetoric on Saturday, he doesn't actually hate the press, except sometimes he does. Watch.
And I'm not talking, not all of the media. You know, I'll tell you, just that is unfair the way they cover me, because they say the media, I'm against the media. I'm not against the media. I'm against the fake media. If you look at CNN, the way they cover me, no matter what you do, it's negative, hits. So I love the media. I think the media is great. And if I do something bad, treat me badly. But they don't tell it like it is.
Joe Concha is a media reporter for The Hill newspaper. He was there on Saturday night at the Correspondents' Dinner, and he joins us. Joe, what'd you think?
What I think of the White House Correspondents' Dinner?
Yeah.
I think first I'd like to comment on Jeff Mason's interview that you just did, because he spoke there that night, and I'm utterly curious and confused here. He admitted to you that under the Trump administration, Tucker, that there's never been better access. And all I know is when I watch the daily press briefings, Sean Spicer takes more questions than Josh Earnest ever did. There's more reporters in that room because of Skype and because other press passes have been given out to different kinds of reporters than ever before. I know that President Trump gave 9 major interviews last week, including with outlets like the Washington Post, Fox News, CBS News, Associated Press, Reuters, Wall Street Journal. Then I hear him on Saturday night say, there are threats to press freedoms here in the United States. We must remain vigilant. The world is watching. And I got a First Amendment pin when I walked into that dinner. So wait, I don't get it. On one hand, the Trump administration is totally about access, and on the other hand, there are press freedoms being threatened. How does that square exactly, Tucker?
So I think what the references to is changing of libel laws. Do you think that's going to happen?
Well, those comments were made by Reince Priebus on Sunday. Jeff Mason made his comments on Saturday. Do I think they'll be changed? I don't know. I don't know. I can't answer that question. But so, look, it's very hard if you're a public figure to sue an outlet if they report negative news about you. That's completely false. You have to show damages. You have to show that you were that there was actual damages that occurred, and you hardly ever see anybody who went outside of Hulk Hogan who sued Gawker out of existence. But otherwise, you really don't see it happen very often.
So I wasn't there. I was on the other side of the continent. I usually go. But watching the tape of it as I did today, it seemed from beginning to end hostile to the president. And let me just be totally clear. I think reporters, I think their job is to hold the powerful to account and to apply a lot of scrutiny to people in power. But this seemed personal. Did it feel that way there?
Absolutely, it seemed personal. No question about it. There's a vitriol towards Donald Trump, Tucker, that we have never seen with any other president. And I base that on numbers. That's not my opinion. Media Research Center, I get they're conservative, but they did a study that showed 89% of stories are negative towards Donald Trump. Okay, let's go to the Swedes. They have a company called Media Tenor research firm. 97 out of 100 stories by the CBS Evening News and the NBC Nightly News were negative towards Donald Trump in his first month. I get it if it's 65-35. It's always going to skew negative. But 97.3, that tells me that there's probably an agenda there. And by the way, a threat to the First Amendment doesn't happen when a president is mean to the press, when he's nasty to them. That's him actually exercising his First Amendment right. You could say it's beneath the presidency, but we're confusing Trump being mean to the press with First Amendment being suppressed. The First Amendment, Tucker, was under threat under the Obama administration. They spied on James Rosen. And not only that, at this network, James Rosen, and not only that, they designated him as a flight risk so they wouldn't have to tell him about the surveillance. They secretly seized Associated Press phone records. They rejected a record number of FOIA requests, Freedom of Information Acts. Those are threats to the First Amendment. Jeff Mason should have been speaking out about that at other White House Correspondents' Dinners. Parties should have been canceled, or boycott should have happened under the Obama administration. Actions, Obama. Words, Trump. That is the difference here.
So let me just say,